Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be about the Eclipse and upgraded loadout, and I wanted to compare it to the stock one, specifically the differences in radar detection of the two. And just a reminder, I'm still doing that giveaway, so to enter all you have to do is be subscribed and make your subscriptions public so that I can check if you're subscribed if you happen to win. And to enter all you have to do is comment on the video before this one, this video, or any video from now until the 15th, and I'll randomly pick a winner on the 15th. So thanks for all the support recently, and let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to start out by just showing you the numbers. This is a really useful website. I use it for any time I'm looking into upgrading my ships or when I'm choosing what components to switch out, and I'll have it linked below. But we're basically just going to be upgrading all of the stock stealth components to the best stealth components. So this isn't necessarily the best loadout, and some things that you might want to change are the guns, because I don't know about the effectiveness of Gatlings on a stealth bomber. You might want something like scatter guns just to have something as backup in case you get into a sticky situation, but I don't even plan on using the guns, so I didn't want to spend the money to upgrade them. And then another thing was, even though the power generation isn't anywhere close to the limit, I decided to upgrade the power supply just because I thought it might bring the signature down, but in my testing later, you're going to see that it didn't really seem to make much of a difference. So I think you could definitely save the money there and not notice much of a difference at all. And then the missiles, or I guess torpedoes in this case, a lot of people like to switch these out. These are cross-section, I believe, and people like to switch those out for either the electromagnetic or infrared seeking ones because their lock time is about half of the cross-section ones. I'm going to stick with the cross-section just because there's no countermeasures for cross-section missiles. So once they're locked, and you either have to outrun them or the target has to maneuver so that there's something between them and the missile. So that's a personal preference, whether you think that decreased lock time is worth the risk of them being able to use countermeasures. And as you can see, these parts are all pretty conveniently located on New Babbage, so I went ahead and headed on over there to pick them all up. So if you're buying ship upgrades from New Babbage, you just want to make your way over to the Commons from the rail line, and then you want to go to the plaza side, not the promenade. Okay, so I just went ahead and bought all the components. It cost me a little over 150,000 credits, so not that bad. And this ship is really cool because you can actually earn it in-game. So I earned mine in-game, and it's a pretty cool ship to be able to earn it in-game.
Initiating ship storage procedure. For your safety, please vacate the area.
So after I bought the upgrades, I went on over to a random station in one of the asteroid fields so that no one would be around to interfere in my testing. Okay, so I think radar can differ between ships, but I just used my Buccaneer because I think that would be pretty indicative of a normal sort of ship radar. And so first I'm going to be testing with the stock equipment loadout on the Eclipse. So as you can see, I can pick up the Eclipse on my radar at a little bit under 3,000 meters.
Proximity alert. Head. Landing complete.
Okay, now I'm testing again with the upgraded loadout, and actually I'm able to detect the Eclipse a few hundred meters farther away than the stock loadout. So this wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping for improved stats and lower detection range, but I guess that's not really realistic. But I think the bump in shield power and cooling is probably still worth it. And having that extra quantum drive speed can make a big difference if you're chasing bounties. Also, 3,000 meters is still pretty close. especially since these torpedoes can lock on from upwards of 10,000 meters. If you are using this ship, you'll probably want to be a little bit closer to launch them, just so that your target can't get away, because you can't actually outrun these torpedoes. They only go about 1,000 meters per second, and they could also quantum jump away. But with the 3,000 meter detection range, they won't have much warning of where you are. So obviously I wasn't in this ship to be able to fly it, and that would increase your signature slightly, but there's also a few things you can do to decrease your signature as well, so I think those would balance out pretty well. So any systems that you're not using, you'll want to power off. So for example, if you don't plan on firing back, and as soon as you deploy your torpedoes you're just going to quantum jump or leave the area, you can turn off your guns and that'll decrease your signature. You can also just turn off your shields if you feel like it's worth the risk. And then also in the heat menu, you'll always want to have suppress overall IR turned on, and that'll further decrease your signature. I just left everything as is though, so that the differences between the two loadouts might be a little bit more obvious. So based on this, if you've got the credits, you can just go ahead and upgrade everything, but it's also up to you, and you can save a few credits by not upgrading the power plant, because that's really not necessary. And you probably don't really need to upgrade the coolers either, depending on what type of weapons you're using. So I do really like the Eclipse, but I hope they refine the stealth gameplay a little bit more in the future, because from what I know right now, the only thing that affects the ship's signature and stealth characteristics are the components it uses. So theoretically, if you outfitted a normal fighter with all stealth components, it would be as stealthy as an Eclipse. So hopefully in the future the Eclipse gets some sort of bonus for its supposedly stealthy build. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed this video. It might not be the most applicable, but if you're an Eclipse owner it might be helpful, and I just think it's interesting to see some of the stealth mechanics that are currently in the game. Thanks for watching.